I thought the biggest surprise about turning 60 would be the wrinkles, or maybe slowing down, but I was wrong. The biggest surprise had nothing to do with getting older at all. They had everything to do with how we begin to see ourselves and the world around us. So today, I want to share 5 things that many of us aren't prepared for after 60, and maybe some of us not even before we get 60. So grab a snack and come on back and let's see if any of these sound familiar to you. And the number one thing on the list, you stop caring what everyone else thinks. Somewhere along the way, you stop living for everyone else's approval. I know I did. And start living from your own values. I don't know exactly when it happened. It wasn't overnight, but somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions based on what everyone else might think. I just stopped doing that. I started asking myself a different question. What feels right for me? What makes me happy? When I decided to start a YouTube channel in my 60s, I knew that not everyone was going to understand it, and they didn't. Some people thought I was too old. Other people wondered why I was putting myself out there at all. But if I had waited for someone's permission, this channel wouldn't exist. One of the greatest freedoms after 60 is realizing you don't need anyone else's permission to become who you were destined to be. Let me say that one more time. One of the greatest freedoms after 60 is realizing that you don't need anyone else's permission to become who you were destined to be. You don't at all. Maybe for you, it isn't YouTube like it is for me, right? Maybe it's writing a book, something that you've always wanted to do, taking that trip, that solo trip, going back to school like I did when I was 45, starting a business, or simply saying yes to something you've talked yourself out of for years. For years. Whatever it is, don't spend this season of your life waiting for permission that may never come. Don't do that. Give yourself permission. That's the only permission you need, is yours. And number 2, peace becomes more valuable than proving yourself at this age, right? One of the biggest changes after 60 is realizing that protecting your peace, oh my goodness, is far more valuable than proving your point. It's far more valuable than that. There was a time in my life when I felt like I had to explain myself, right? I had to explain. If someone misunderstood me, I wanted to fix it. If someone had the wrong impression, I wanted to clear it up. I spent a lot of energy trying to make sure people understood me or understood who I was. But somewhere along the way, I realized something. Not everyone who misunderstands us deserves an explanation. They don't. Beloved, they don't. Sometimes protecting our peace is the better response. The better response. Whether it's family, social media, friendships, or everyday life. We all have moments when we want people to understand us. We do. But after 60, I've learned that I don't have to explain myself to anyone. I just don't have to, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes peace says more than another explanation ever could. Ever could. And number 3, some people are meant for a season. And if you've been here long enough and you're one of my day oneers, you already know this. I have spoken about this so many times. People are in our lives for a season and a reason. And at some point, there's a season finale. You know, one of the hardest things to accept after 60 is that not every relationship is meant to last forever. And that's okay. That is okay. There was a time in my life when I thought if someone drifted away, I must have done something wrong. I questioned myself, like most of us do. I replayed conversations in my mind over and over again. I wondered if there was something I could have done to keep things the way they were. But life has taught me an important lesson. Sometimes people come into our lives to teach us something. They truly do. And sometimes that lesson is enough. It's enough. And you've heard me speak about this before. People grow. We grow. Life changes. Priorities change. Sometimes relationships change too. And that doesn't always mean someone was wrong. It doesn't. Or that someone failed. Sometimes we can simply be grateful for what that person brought into our lives, even if they weren't meant to stay. Like I told the story last week about my classmate Judy, right? She was here to teach me so many little things in that little season of my life. After I was forced retired, after I lost my car was repossessed and everything, she was here to show me a few things. And then that was it. I haven't spoken to her from that day to this day. It's been 12 years. She was here for a reason and season. She did her job and she left. God sent her to help me. He knew I needed somebody to help me with that particular task. And she did, and that was it. And that's how we have to think about things sometimes, right? So I think that, everybody's not meant to stay. And it's okay. It's okay. Number 4, your body changes, and so do you, right? So do you. Getting older changes our bodies. There's no denying that. But that's not the whole story. Not the whole story. While our bodies are changing, so are we. I've had to learn to look at my health differently in my 60s. Diabetes, weight loss, walking, learning to give myself grace instead of beating myself up when everything doesn't happen as quickly, as I'd like it to. Some days my body reminds me that, girl, you are in your 60s, right? Sometimes it reminds me. But every day, my life reminds me how much stronger and wiser I've become. So much stronger and wiser. So much. Our bodies, they may change, but our growth, it doesn't have to stop. Doesn't have to stop at all. We're never too old to learn something new. Never. I'm proof of that. I went back to school at the age of 45. I got my master's degree at the age of 51. I've proven that. We're never too old to become healthier. No, I'm on a weight loss journey in my 60s. I've lost 140 pounds. We're never too old to do these things, right? People say, oh, you can't do it. I'm proof that you can. We're never too old to become healthier. Never. And we're never too old to dream another dream. Never. Never. Or discover another part of ourselves. Growing older doesn't mean we stop growing. It means we're still evolving. We're still evolving always. And number 5, your story isn't over yet. It's not over. It's just getting started. Just getting started. I think one of the biggest surprises about life after 60 is realizing It's realizing that our story isn't over. It's not over. If anything, we're finally beginning to understand ourselves in ways that we never could before. If someone had told me just a few years ago that I'd be sitting here talking to people from all over the world through a YouTube channel, I probably would have laughed. I'm like, yeah, right. I didn't see this coming. I did not see this coming at all. But I'm so grateful that I didn't convince myself that I was too old to start a YouTube channel. It's never too late to become who you were meant to be. Never, never, beloved. Maybe your dream doesn't look anything like mine, right? We all have different dreams. Maybe it's writing that book, like I said, that you've always talked about. Maybe it's going back to school like I did at the age of 45. Maybe it's starting that business. Maybe it's traveling somewhere that you've always wanted to go, right? Or doing that solo travel that you were so afraid of, that you were so afraid to do, traveling on your own. Oh my God, it's so freeing. I've done it so many times and it's so freeing. It's so freeing. But whatever your dream is, don't let your age talk you out of it. Don't let your age talk you out of it. So, what was the biggest surprise about life after 60 or any age for you? Any decade, what was the biggest surprise for you? It wasn't the wrinkles. It wasn't slowing down. It was realizing that I wasn't finished yet. Definitely not. Definitely not. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these 5 sounded the most familiar to you? Which one of these 5 sounded the most familiar to you? Or maybe there's something you'd add to the list. Let's keep the conversation going down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And as always, I see you. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. I'm proud of us. And I thank you for spending a part of your day with me. Love you plenty.